Grand Theft Auto, the multiplayer. How many of you guys actually got to play it back in 2009, back in GTA 4? It was so much different than what it is now. What you're seeing is some GTA 4 gameplay, and I just thought it would be interesting to take a little comparison look at GTA Online or GTA multiplayer in 2009 compared to 2019. What has changed in 10 years? And I will say, this isn't going to be a video just completely crapping on GTA Online, because I know that that's a popular thing to do. This is more of just a look at how the game's changed, kind of. Now, from this GTA 4 gameplay, there's a couple of major things that you'll notice is different. And if you guys played back then, you will remember this. The driving is way different than GTA 5 and GTA Online's driving. We'll get more into specifics here in a second, but the driving was one of the major differences. The other major difference was that you basically didn't really progress in GTA 4 or in GTA multiplayer back in 2009. There was really no levels. There was no things to work towards. You just simply logged in, you got online, you joined a session if you wanted to, and then you just had some fun with a couple of buddies. And you'll see, if you look at the minimap especially, there are guns scattered all around the map. And that was one of the biggest changes to GTA Online. Now, the guns weren't on the map. I mean, you could find a couple of specialty melee weapons across the map, but for the most part, you would have to level up and buy your own guns. Back in GTA 4 in 2009, you just walked to wherever the guns were, picked it up, and you had it. Same thing for health and armor. You just walked to where they were, you picked them up, and then you had it. Obviously, until you got shot and you died and you'd lose your armor or whatever. But GTA 4 Online was a lot more simple. And honestly, to me, it felt like you were an actual random criminal in the world. Unlike GTA Online nowadays, where you're a CEO, you're a biker club member, you're a VIP, you're a nightclub owner, like, you don't really feel like a criminal in the world. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing or a good thing. I'm just saying how different things were. Back then, it's like you started out with your Glock until you got, until you went and go picked up some other weapons. And that's kind of, what a criminal would have. You wouldn't have every crazy gun. You don't have a ray gun or a laser gun. You just have a regular old gun. And the cars, you just went and grabbed a car off the street and hoped whatever one you wanted spawned. One of the things I noticed just driving around was that cops actually walked around in GTA 4's city. You don't ever really see that in Los Santos in GTA Online nowadays. I mean, obviously, if you shoot, cops will come, but you don't just see random cops driving around, or you don't just see cops walking around. And I thought that was kind of different. Now, the driving, probably the biggest difference, driving, some people said it was more realistic in GTA 4, but then others sort of felt like it was just frustrating. It wasn't really realistic. You were driving on ice. But one thing I do sort of miss, and what's different back then, the destruction of the vehicles was a lot crazier. Like, your car could get really messed up in GTA 4 because of the destruction physics. In GTA Online, in today's day and age, that rarely ever happens. They sort of toned down that destruction on vehicles, which is unfortunate, because I like seeing, if you got into enough crashes, I like seeing the cars all messed up. And one of the things I completely forgot about until I went into one, back in 2009, when you went into a pay and spray, you didn't have any options. Like, you didn't get to choose which color you wanted. You didn't get to choose anything. You simply went in and they gave you a new color randomly. So you'd have to go in as many times as you wanted to get a particular color. And I completely forgot about that. I was like, man, that's different. Also, because you kind of get used to it in today's day and age of GTA Online. Back then, if you flipped a car, that was it. You couldn't flip it over, which I guess added to the realism aspect of it. Again, I sort of feel like GTA 4, and this is just the game itself, but it also translated into its online, to the multiplayer aspect. It was a more gritty, realistic, or trying to be realistic game, where clearly nowadays GTA Online is not. I mean, the thumbnail of this video is kind of an exaggeration, but we have alien suits, we have laser guns, we have flying bikes, flying cars, we have ray guns, we have an orbital cannon that can literally kill anyone, anywhere on the map. Well, pretty much anywhere on the map for $1 million. Also, because of just the nature of everything that was added to GTA Online, there's not like a place that people go. For instance, and I guess this is somewhat subjective and it depends on how you play the game, but back in GTA 4, me and a couple of buddies, we would always go to the airport and mess around there because you'd always find some fast cars and then you'd hit the ramps, the little ramps on the runway, and try and land on the plane. Or you'd get into the Annihilator, which was like the best helicopter in that game. I think it's like one of the only helicopters in that game. And that would just wreck people. But in GTA Online nowadays, there's not really like a place. There's a bunch of places to go, but there's not like a main place to go that you see people at always. Like you would always find people at the airport because of the reasons I mentioned. And obviously because things don't just spawn, you can get whatever you want in GTA Online right next to you. You don't have to go to a certain location. Like that was another benefit or another reason people went to the airport, because that was one of the few places that you could find the Annihilator. So if you wanted to actually go on a tear with this helicopter, you have to go there and get it. Where in GTA Online, you can spawn it. It spawns in like a million different locations. So you don't have to go to a certain spot. There's no spot that people could just sort of sit around and wait for others to show up to interact with them or engage in a fight with them. And the firefights in GTA 4, while I don't actually have any gameplay of that because I don't think many people are playing online in that game, so there was no one in my lobby, but the firefights were a lot better in that game. Like one thing, you couldn't strafe with a sniper in that game like you can do in 2019 GTA Online. There was no easy way out, so if you wanted to die, you just had to blow yourself up, which wasn't really that prevalent. Like not many people did that. They just died. They died because someone shot them. You know, like I mentioned at the beginning, I don't want to hate on GTA Online. That's not what this video is about, because while there are some negatives and while most of the things I've said are kind of crazy, it's like some of those things are kind of cool. Like I absolutely love the up and atomizer. It's crazy for sure, but I think it somewhat fits in with all the craziness from single player, and even if you go back to San Andreas, and it's useful. It's fun. It's useful in the game. The Oppressor Mark II, while that's so damn annoying to get killed by, it's so damn helpful to actually use. Honestly, I could probably do without the alien suits and the laser weapons. Those, I don't really necessarily see why they had to add those to the game, because they don't really add anything to the game. They're just reskins of things that are already in the game, and they cost a lot more money. But also, you know, some of the positives, there's way more to do. That was one of the issues with GTA 4. You'd hop on for like, I don't know, 30 minutes, and then you'd be kind of bored after that, because you're like, what do we do now? There's nothing really to do. GTA Online, there's everything you can work towards. All kind of businesses you can do, all kind of jobs, heists. There's just a ton more content in the game. So let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think? Like, what is your thoughts on this topic? GTA multiplayer 2009 versus 2019. What, I guess, period do you like more? Do you like back in 2009 when everything was way simple? Do you maybe like 2013, 2014 when GTA Online wasn't as crazy as it is now? Or do you like the way it is now with all the craziness? And maybe, I guess, you know, how do you want Rockstar to do the next GTA Online and going forward? Like, what do you think they should focus on? I think if they can go back to that 2013 point where they had GTA Online, which had, you know, a ton of stuff to do, obviously had some improvements. You had the leveling system to work towards something. They can just go towards that again and be a little bit more realistic. I'm down for that. All right, that's what I hope they focus on, instead of going all crazy with more militarization and more alien stuff. While it is kind of cool sometimes and kind of fun, it's like, this is GTA after all. And that was like one of the things back in the day. It's like, oh, this is GTA. This is not Saints Row. It's like GTA Online has kind of surpassed Saints Row in terms of craziness. Who would have thought that would have happened? But anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you all for watching and listening to me discuss and talk about this. I just thought it was super interesting to see what happened in 10 years, how Rockstar has changed, how GTA multiplayer has changed in 10 years. So thank you all. Please drop the video a like if you did enjoy. Subscribe for more GTA Online content. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one.